I quit my corporate finance job and joined the United States Navy with the dream of becoming a SEAL. A decision, of course, that would forever change my life and set me on the path that I'm on today. So one day I was having a conversation with my twin brother. He's like, "Brent, you've got to be kidding me. SEALs? Like, you're not being serious, right?" I'll admit, I don't even really know much about it, but I know one thing. There is no way in hell you could ever do that. I mean, let's face it, aren't these guys supposed to be, I don't know, world-class warriors or something? Like really tough guys? You are not tough at all. Again, don't know much about it, but I am pretty certain SEALs aren't nerdy, sniffly, emotional guys who cry during a Clorox bleach commercial. So let's just forget we had this conversation and stick with your nerdy finance job. Well, now I knew I had to do it, right? This is a true story. Literally a week later, I quit my job, and my buddy, whom I'd been training with, moved up here to Crested Butte, Colorado, where we trained for an additional 6 months for 5 hours a day at 10,000 feet altitude to get into the best physical condition that we could. Then in early 2000, joined the Navy, and after a couple months of basic training, was on a plane headed out to sunny San Diego, California, where we would begin our journey. I can tell you with exact certainty and clarity, like it was yesterday, that I have never been more nervous in my entire life than the day I stepped foot into the lobby of the Naval Special Warfare Training Center. But of course, at this point, there was no turning back. I had to be all in. It takes 18 months and costs about $3 million to acquire one SEAL. And that doesn't count the millions of dollars and years of arduous training once you actually make it to a team. That 18 months is broken into various segments. The first segment is 6 months long and called BUDS. Another one of our acronyms, it stands for Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL. BUDS has a 90% failure rate of highly capable candidates. None of us are extraordinary, exceptional individuals. We're just common people with an uncommon desire to succeed. So imagine those types of activities going on for months and months at a time. And then the irony is that the training just gets more difficult after that. So the third week of BUDS, the third week of this 18-month training pipeline is called Hell Week. And I assure you it's a lot worse than that sounds. It's designed to do one thing, simply weed out those not committed to the vision of becoming a SEAL. You do not sleep for an entire week. You run the equivalent of multiple marathons while wet and sandy inside and out. This is called getting a sugar cookie. It sucks because the instructors make a concerted effort to ensure you get the sand on the inside of your clothing so that it strips the flesh off your body as you run. It's like wearing sandpaper inside out. You swim dozens of miles in the open, frigid ocean. You run with heavy logs, heavy boats, heavy backpacks. You run the obstacle course multiple times a day. Endless calisthenics, brutal beatings. All while battling severe bruising, cuts, lacerations, stress fractures, cellulitis, broken bones, things that seemed uncomfortable or things that seemed almost seemingly impossible to become a part of your everyday life. That winning mindset of persistence and determination reminds me of a great quote by Martin Luther King Jr. that says, "If you can't fly, you run. And if you can't run, you walk. And if you can't walk, you crawl. But no matter what, you keep moving forward." In the SEAL teams, we have an ethos, a creed that embodies our culture and our values. And a similar line from that ethos says, "I will not quit. I persevere and thrive in adversity. And if knocked down, I will get back up every time. I am never out of the fight." And that winning mindset is how each and every one of you, all of us, can continue to take point in our own lives, to push the confines of our comfort zone, to push the limits, to take calculated risks, to succeed and win, and to be all in all the time. If you think about that mindset, that winning mindset, winning here is a conscious decision. You will make up your mind whether you want to pass or you're going to choose to fail. Keep moving no matter what. Find an excuse to win. You can push yourself further than your mind or body ever thought possible. BUDS training is based on the rule of 7. When your brain is telling you that you can go no further and take no more pain, you can go 7 times longer, 7 times more, and push yourself 7 times harder. And again, that's why very few people make it through this selection process. I wanted to tell you guys a brief story about trust from my BUDS classes Hell Week experience. The students have no idea when Hell Week will commence. The anxiety, the anguish is literally eating away at your soul. And as a way to inspire us and motivate us, our class leader, who is the highest ranking officer in your class, he read to us the St. Crispin's Day speech from William Shakespeare's Henry V. And he read aloud those famed lines that say, "We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother." John died 4 days later. We were 4.5 days into Hell Week. There were only about 30 students left of the 250. We were in full gear, no fins, in an Olympic-sized swimming pool doing relay races. 4.5 days into Hell Week, you're hallucinating so violently, your body is so brutally beaten. It's more of an evolution in controlled drowning. Long story short, John suffered a massive heart failure and drowned in the pool right next to us. But again, we were hallucinating so violently and so exhausted at that point, nobody had any idea what was going on. So they ran us back across the street to the Special Warfare Center, and they put us in the classroom where we waited for a couple hours. And after a couple hours, the door opens and the instructor staff walk in, and with them was the commanding officer of BUDS at the time. He walked to the front of the room, turned around to address the class. He said, "Gentlemen, listen up. Lieutenant John Scott was pronounced dead at 1 a.m. Lieutenant Parado, you're taking over." And he said it with that level of candor, I believe, purposefully. He paused for a minute to let that sink in. Then he said, "Gentlemen, get used to this feeling that you have right now. This is what it's going to be like in the teams, and you will lose teammates. You have to learn to control your emotions, stay focused on the mission, and trust each other no matter what, especially amidst adversity." And it was a bit of odd foreshadowing because he really had no idea how right he really was. Literally 4 months later was 9/11. And that's when we all knew we'd be going to war where trust would be at a premium. And although Navy SEALs are widely known to be the most elite and feared special operations fighting force in the entire world, we've been living in a constant state of VUCA, of pain, of loss, sacrifice, and disruption in our post-9/11 reality. Yet how have we continued to persevere, adapt, and lean into that pain and sacrifice to fight and defeat a very dangerous and decentralized enemy? In large part, it's due to our very well-defined and distinct organizational culture, a culture where every single person pushes the limits and boundaries of their comfort zone every single day. We get comfortable being uncomfortable. Or as we say in the SEAL teams, we embrace the suck. Same thing when I made that decision to transition from corporate finance to start training and join the Navy to become a SEAL, a total mindset transformation. I had to think about the reality of the world around me in a totally different way. Everything had to change in order for me to achieve that lofty goal of a program that has a 90% failure rate. And any time in our life when we have that vision and that lofty goal, in the SEAL teams we say, you gotta eat the elephant one bite at a time. We break the big goals into bite-sized chunks, making them less daunting and more achievable. Navy SEALs can only be forged in adversity. Every single person in this room has and will continue to face various aspects of adversity throughout your entire life. But again, as you know, it's what we do and how we react in the face of adversity that builds our character and defines who we are. The trust you have in yourself, to fulfill the promises you make to yourself to achieve those goals, to be disciplined and accountable. And like accountability, trust is the bedrock of any successful purpose-driven life. It's how you fuel the drive to achieve those goals. It builds resilience, and resilience is the foundation of any life lived outside your comfort zone. It is a privilege we must earn every day. We too, all of us, can embody that winning mindset. And each and every one of you can take away from this how to embody that winning mindset, to get comfortable being uncomfortable, to win, and to be all in all the time.